It's new moon in Scorpio time. Are you ready? Stay tuned and watch to the end so that you get all the juicy tidbits of how to make this new moon cycle work for you. The Black Feather Intuitive, and welcome to New Moon Musings. This is a very exciting new moon cycle. We have our fourth of 4 super moons that are coming up in this month, and we have 1 month left after this cycle of 2024. So there's a lot that's coming up and coming through. For those of you who are old hat and watch this all the time, you know what to do. Click on the link below to join the intro and get started. For those of you who are brand new to me, welcome. Stay tuned, keep watching for another minute or so of a clip that tells you how to make this reading work for you throughout the month. And we'll see you on the flip side. For those of you who are new to me, here's a quick little breakdown on how to make this reading work for you. The new moon cycle works where it moves in 3.5 basically days throughout that 28-day cycle. So sometimes you're in a phase a little bit longer or a little bit shorter. It is not linear. But what I do is I give you dates connected to each of the phases of the new moon cycle so that you can come back to the video after you've watched the whole thing, you've taken it all in, you come back to that video for those particular times so that you understand, okay, I'm in, the waxing crescent phase, and what do I need to know about that? What is transpiring in my world right now? And this information is really helpful because it's giving me perspective on what it is I need to learn, or maybe I need to pull back, or maybe I need to lean in a little bit more. So use this. It's kind of like the gift that keeps on giving. Use it throughout the month to support you. So this new moon cycle is going to be very, very interesting on an energetic level. There's going to be a lot of motivation, desire to move forward, desire to get rid of everything you possibly can get rid of and start from scratch. And a lot of this is because we are getting ready to purge for the new year. You don't need to be psychic to understand that, but that's the energy of what we're getting here for this particular new moon. And it is a new moon in Scorpio. So let's talk about what that means. Scorpios are really amazing at doing the deep dive into that ocean of emotion, to get really into all of the feels and all of the stuff, and then release to make room for the new. And so this is really powerful and positive this month because it is going to be an intentional release. A lot of the other releases that we've gone through in the last couple of years have not been necessarily so intentional. They happen to us, and then we have to navigate those waters. This is one where you get to pick and choose what you are releasing and how you are opening up to what is coming up and coming through. And we are going to be pulling cards today from the Thelema Tarot. I'm very excited about sharing this deck with you. And then, as you know, for all of the new moon, the first and third quarter, and the full moon, I'm going to be pulling an affirmation card to kind of guide us along what is coming up and coming through. So let's get started. Our new moon is going to be at 5:48 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 9:48 UTC time. And it's happening on November 1st. And so this is kind of exciting because we have 2 months in a row where the full moon cycle is complete in the same month. So we're not bleeding into other months. And that is, I want to say, symbolic of wholeness, completion, resolution that is coming up. And so we can lean into that energy for support. What we're going to do is we're going to pull a release card of what we are releasing from the previous new moon, which was, of course, all in Libra season. And let's see what we are releasing. Ooh, Ace of Cups. So last month was very much, and last full moon was very much the energy of initiation. A lot of things coming up to the surface to get started, to think about, to plan, to decide whether or not you want to engage in it. And now that you have made that choice and you are engaging in it, or you've decided I'm not interested in that and I'm moving on, the Ace of Cups is moving out of that realm of potentiality, and we are releasing that potentiality and moving more into an action-oriented or a plan-focused space and place. I'm also feeling like, as I'm looking at this particular card, we have this beautiful peace dove, and the peace dove always symbolizes to me freedom. So not that we're releasing freedom, but I feel that we are being freed from this idea that I need to have the plan, I need to have all of my ducks in a row in order to be able to take the step forward. I feel like you're releasing that right now because you're more in a space of, I just want something to change. I want something to happen. And I know that in order for it to happen, I have to do something different. So you're releasing I want to say sort of the concept of not wanting to make a move for fear of making a mistake or getting it wrong, or it being about wrong timing, and instead you're just taking a step towards the vision that you're creating for yourself. And I feel like the universe is going to take 10 steps towards you. So that Ace of Cups energy is about releasing potential and moving into something that is more tangible as we're moving forward, which is exciting. And now we're going to our soul card, and this is the collective soul. What is it that we are learning and focused on learning collectively during this particular cycle? And I always love this card because it gives us a sense of focus. You know, all the other cards in the spread tell us about each of the energies of the grouping of days, the phases of the moon, how we can respond to that, but there's always a bit of a theme, and the theme is the soul card. And today we've got the Page of Swords. So Page of Swords is really interesting because this is an energy that says, I'm willing to learn. I'm not fearful. I don't have enough knowledge or experience to be fearful or to not know the right questions to ask. And I'm willing to do what is necessary to learn. I am a happy student. And I also have a lot of intuition naturally that steers me in the right direction. And so I trust that intuition. I may not know where it's going to take me, but I trust in what is coming up and coming through. And so I feel like the Page of Swords is coming up for each of us in this new moon cycle as the theme, because this is the approach that we want to take. We are going to be learning some new processes, some new truths about our own lives, about our friends, about our family, and about the collective at large. And Page of Swords says, I'm here for all of it. Show me the way. You know, I'm ready. I've got my sword in hand. Let's do this. So there's a real energy here of movement forward momentum with excitement. And I feel like that is something that we can all really step into, is let's be excited about what we're releasing. Let's be excited about this future that we are creating. We may not know exactly how it's all going to turn out, but we don't need to, because if we are present and in the moment, we're going to get to where it is that we need to go regardless. And that's really important. And now we are moving on to our new moon card. This is I manifest. What energies are here to support my manifesting? How can I lean into their wisdom? And the new moon is happening, of course, on November 1st, as we said, at 5:48 a.m. Eastern Standard, 9:48 a.m. UTC. And the energies of the new moon are going to be from the 1st to the 4th. So this is a great opportunity now that we have released that Ace of Cups. We're ready to set the plan in motion. What is it that we are wanting to manifest for this particular cycle? And let's see what's coming up. Ooh, the wheel. Changing our luck, changing our destiny, making it work for us. So I feel like the Wheel of Fortune is coming through to say there's divine order to everything that you're doing. You are now fully walking your divine blueprint. You are stepping into the path and the purpose that you came here to be on, a mission, if you choose, if you see it in that way. And the wheel says this is new beginnings based on an already established foundation, but it's the foundation that you have established, not one that has been established for you. And how can you lean into the wisdom of this wheel? I feel very much that we are in a space and a place right now where we are on the precipice of being able to create everything and anything that we desire. But we have to understand that it is our own power of co-creation that does it. It is not something that happens to us. It happens through us and for us. And we are also in charge of bringing it into the forefront in our lives. It's all about choice. And even though this isn't a card of choice directly, when the Wheel of Fortune spins and it shows up in your life, you have choice as to how you're going to engage with what shows up. And you want to trust that everything that shows up between the 1st and the 4th of November is actually giving you something that you need to be able to achieve a goal that you're seeking to achieve. So even if it shows up in not so pretty of a package, even if it's not wrapped up in a beautiful bow and you're still not quite understanding or not quite sure why it's happening in the way that it's happening, look for that space of, okay, I know it's happening for a reason and I know it's happening for me. So help me, guides, help me, angels, help me, Phoenix energy, to determine what this is here, how this is here to help me, because I want to receive that help. I am open to that resource. And when we're manifesting, it's understanding that this energy is coming up because you are in the process of manifesting. This is like an affirmation that the manifestation is going to come to pass. So this gives you an opportunity to really just get your ducks in a row around it, and then to release all expectation of the how and the when. Create the what and the why, and release the how and the when. This is going to be a really potent time for, I'm hearing, for women, not to leave the men out, but I'm hearing specifically for women, not divine feminine, but women. It's a potent time for women. And I feel like this potent time for women needs to be asserted. There's a verbal communication connected to this. So what I would say is speak your truth, speak what's on your mind, speak what's on your heart. Don't hold back. It's never about the message. It's always about the delivery. So just, bring some awareness and consideration to how you're speaking the message, but don't sugarcoat the message. It needs to be heard. It needs to be felt. It needs to be seen and experienced in exactly the way that you are feeling called to share it. So some of you won't have a problem with that at all. Others of you may feel a bit nervous about that. Am I going to be ostracized? Am I going to be judged? Are people going to dismiss me? Am I going to get into trouble for speaking my truth? And I feel that the universe has got your front, back, sides, bottom, and top. So move forward with that. So our new moon affirmation for the wheel is, and we're pulling cards from the Wishcraft affirmations here, and here's what we've got. The magic potion. I can create magic anytime I wish. I love this for the wheel because the wheel basically is that. It says, let me throw you a little loop. Let me throw a wrench into the works just to give you the opportunity to work your magic. And sometimes working your magic is being patient and allowing timing to unfold in its own way and pace. Sometimes it's showing up to say, hey, this was an opportunity that you hadn't considered before, and now it's here. It's right in front of you, and you can take advantage of it. All you have to do is say yes to it. So I can create magic anytime I wish. I just feel that this is the perfect connection to the wheel, because the wheel is about that divine order and timing. And this is saying, anytime I wish, I've got the magic. So very, very fitting for that card. All right, we are now on our Waxing Crescent card, and this is I Plan. What do I need to consider when creating my plan for the cycle? Any challenges or opportunities to be aware of? And this is happening on November 5th through the 7th. And I'm really feeling this sense when we talk about the plan. I'm feeling this sense of overwhelming love, overwhelming devotion, a real connection, not only to your plan, to yourself, to what you're trying to create for yourself, but also to the people around you and who you're serving, who you are planning this for, or who you are planning this with, who you are going to experience this with. And that word devotion feels really important. We'll see what the card has to say, but this is going to be a time where you are evaluating what you are committing yourself to, what you are truly devoted to. And spoiler alert, you need to make sure that you are a big part of that devotion. We need to be devoted to self and source in order to really be effective in what we're here to do. Interesting, we've got another page. So Page of Wands is coming up, and this is interesting when I say devotion, because the Page of Wands definitely has that devotional quality, almost to the point of obsession at times. It's that student who says, oh my God, this is so amazing, everything is so great, we need to get on this right now. It's that passion, it's the fire, it's the connection to the soul journey. And sometimes the Page of Wands doesn't always consider other people in the mix, or doesn't always consider the value of thinking a plan through. The Page of Wands is a little more impulsive in nature. So what you need to consider when creating your plan for this cycle, it's tapping into that passion and embracing that passion, but also incorporating the plan. And the Page of Wands is also, much like the Page of Swords, is a willing student, a very willing student, but maybe a bit impatient. Maybe a bit of a person who skips some of the important details, likes to go from, A to D without considering B and C. And sometimes that can work in their favor, and sometimes that can be a bit of a hindrance. So during this particular period of time, that Waxing Crescent, November 5th to the 7th, pay attention to your impulsivity. Pay attention to what is really lighting your fire and floating your boat, because that's where you want to put your focus and attention to, but that's also where you want to take some time to hammer out the plan and to pay attention to those particular details. I'm also hearing collaboration. If you find that you tend to be a little more impulsive in your approach, and that sometimes that can get in your way, this is a great opportunity to involve someone else in your plan. You don't have to bring them in to take over, but you can bring them in to maybe keep you on track, or to give you some food for thought, a different perspective, maybe some tips on how to get all of your needs met when you are formulating that plan. Okay, now we are at our first quarter card, the first quarter moon, and this is I Act. What energy fuels my motivation? How can I collaborate with source energy to empower my actions? And this is the first quarter is November 8th through the 11th. So a very potent time, at least in North America. I don't know how it is in other parts of the world, but this is kind of a natural reflection time, looking into reflection, and we're opening up into the season of gratitude as well. November 11th is Remembrance Day or Veterans Day in North America, and it also is kind of like the event that happens before Thanksgiving opens up and the Christmas season and the festivity season and all that fun stuff, right? The holiday season comes up. So when we're talking about this, I act, what energy fuels my motivation? We've got 7 of Pentacles. And I think this is really interesting because of the other cards that we've gotten. We see that with the wheel, there's going to be a shift. We're being called to work our magic. And the 7 of Pentacles says, I'm reaping rewards. But maybe I'm reaping some rewards a little too soon, or maybe those rewards aren't exactly what I thought they were going to be. I keep hearing the word patience and patience and perseverance. So when you're acting, I act. What energy fuels my motivation? I feel like it's harvesting what it is that you're reaping, but also understanding that you don't want to just take every fruit off of the tree. You want to kind of test it and see if the fruit naturally, easily, comes off in your hand, or if it wants to stay on the branch. If it wants to stay on the branch, perhaps it's not quite ready yet. So you want to really be present with what you're doing, being present with the actions that you're taking, and read the room, read the people, read the circumstance, read the situation. Don't go in and blindly harvest whatever is available. You want to really be in a space of intentionality. And the question, how can I collaborate with source energy to empower my actions? I feel like it's important to reap what you have sown, to give yourself permission to enjoy what has come up and come through, but to understand that you're not at the end of this particular cycle yet either. There's more that's coming up and coming through. And you want to be present enough to acknowledge that and to acknowledge people's paths around you. I want to say with this, it's not about you, or it's not only about you. It's about the collective you, or the collective we, the us, the we are all one. And so you want to think about, yes, I'm harvesting for myself, but I'm also, respective of the tree that's giving me the fruit. And I'm also respective of the fruit that isn't quite ready to become all that it can be for me. And so I give it a little more time. Here's another theme that's coming through. It's time. That Wheel of Fortune popping up and the Page of Swords saying, I'm open to all of it. I'm a student of all of it. Bring it on. I'm also hearing that from a work perspective, with a lot of us, there's going to be this. It feels almost like nobody knows what's going on, and you're going to be kind of in a space and a place where you're looking around and you're going like, am I in the twilight zone? Am I the only one who can actually see the solution? Or am I the only one who really understands the scope of the situation that we're in? Am I the only one with the answer? And I want to say in certain cases, yeah, in that moment you are. So don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to step into some leadership. It's temporary leadership. It's not something you have to be aggressive about, but it's definitely something that you want to be forward in offering. You want to offer it, because if you don't, it creates problems on the other side. And yeah, there are people who aren't seeing it in the way that you're seeing it. You're not crazy, and you're not too big for your britches. If someone gets upset because you've offered it, too bad, sucks to be them. You're offering it because it's what you see and what you witness, and you are the person that you're waiting for in that moment. You are the person with the solution. So own that for sure. All right, and so our affirmation card for that first quarter. Here's one that pops out. Random acts of kindness. I am kind and can show others kindness. So, along with creating the plan and acting on the plan and stepping into that energy that you are motivated by and what you're collaborating to bring, you want to have a healthy dose of kindness mixed into all of it. Because without kindness, whatever it is that you create is going to fall flat. It's going to lack luster. It's not going to have the same level of meaning. So act in kindness. Act in the frequency of love, and all will be well. Yeah, short, sweet, and to the point on that one. All right, now we're moving on to our waxing gibbous card. I choose. What energy can I lean into for confidence as I discern my commitments? And the waxing gibbous is on November 12th through the 14th. And I feel a lot of empowerment energy that's coming up during this time. Of course, the word choose is, or choice, is an empowerment word, and it embodies that energy. But I do feel that these next 3 days are definitely days that if there's anything that you want to bring to light, any activity or project or conversation that you want to have the most success or get the most bang for your buck on, these are the 3 days to do it and to focus on it. So let's see what the card is for us. Oh, beautiful. 6 of Swords. Yes. Support and grace. So what energy can you lean into for confidence as you discern your commitments? It's understanding that you've been through the journey. You've been down the dark well. And this is not a call to say that there's more of that coming. This is actually the call to say you are being... you're being led or flown over the challenge, over the difficulty. You no longer have to make that a consideration, because what is coming up and coming through for you now is that support and that grace. We recognize that you've worked really hard for what it is that you've achieved, or you've worked really hard to get to the point that you're at. We're not going to expect you to continue with such an intensive flow. We're going to give you a little bit of an ebb, a little bit of ease. And I'm also hearing in terms of I choose this. Because as we are seeing with this card, there's a bit of dark energy with it. There's a kind of a darker image that implies the storm. But we could look at it in a couple of ways. We could see the storm as coming, or we could see the storm as dissipating, as passing. And take the win, take the hand, the handout. I've got my hand out to help you. Let me lift you up, or let me support you in this journey. Receive that. Choose to receive that. Also, choose to be that for another person. This particular window of time, I feel, is not only about how we are going to choose peace and ease and grace, but how we offer it to another. There's this energy of reciprocity in these 3 days. So you're going to receive it, and you're also going to have the opportunity to give it or to offer it. Don't pass up the opportunity for reciprocity, because it'll come back to you in another way, and in a way that may not be as pleasant or effortless, if that makes sense. So not to say you have to pay it back right away, but it's really being open to when you have those opportunities to do so, then you want to step into that space. Interesting. Okay, now we are at our full moon card. Yay! The full moon is happening on November 15th, and the energy window is the 15th through the 18th. It is happening at 2:29 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6:29 p.m. UTC. This is a full moon in Taurus. So Taurus is the bull, predictability, sometimes some stubbornness, sensuality, enjoying the beautiful gifts of life. And not only is it a full moon in Taurus, but it is a super moon. And it is the fourth super moon, the fourth and the final super moon of 2024. So it means it's going to be very close to the planet, which means that the moon regulates the water systems. And water is about our ocean of emotion and our psychic realm. So when we are talking about the full moon card and I receive, you are going to be receiving all sorts of psychic hits. You're going to be receiving all sorts of clarity around your intuition. And you're going to be receiving it in ways that are more predictable. You're going to feel them. You're going to see them and hear them and sense them and know them and smell them and taste them. All of the senses are going to be here. So take advantage of this time to receive this information. It's very, very important. One other little tip, this is called the Beaver Supermoon because the indigenous people set traps for the beavers to get the pelts so that they were preparing to keep warm during the winter. So there is a little theme here in that super full moon that it's about preparation, preparedness, and resources. So I feel very much that when we're talking about that Taurus energy as well, not only is it predictability, but it's also luxury. So don't be afraid to receive luxuriousness, luxuriousness in whatever form that comes. Maybe it's through a self-care ritual. Maybe someone gives you a very unexpected gift that creates that sense of luxury. I want to say receive it all. And receive it all with an open heart and a very gentle, grateful tongue. This is important. So the full moon card, let's shuffle them up and see what comes through. I receive. How can I best open to the energies of this full moon to receive clarity, guidance, and direction? And what gift does this full moon offer to me? Ooh, we've got the King of Wands. So King of Wands says, I'm worthy and deserving of all of it. And I'm happy to share it as well as to receive it. And I also know how to create it. So we were just talking about the full moon regulating our emotional space, regulating our moods, as well as the psychic. Well, what's the opposite of water? Fire. So it's interesting that King of Wands is coming through because he's saying there is that reciprocity, there is that balance. And while the water is perhaps tempering things or maybe stirring some things up, fire can come in and shed light on what is being stirred up, on what needs to be moved or shifted or acknowledged. The gift of King of Wands is confidence. The gift of King of Wands is less fear or fearlessness in moving forward into your dreams, goals, and desires. This in many ways is like the entrepreneur card. So you can think of this in terms of whether you're an entrepreneur or not. This is a card that says, what resources do I require? What lights my fire and floats my boat? What is it that I've been sitting on for so long that I just need to get up and do now? Because the king is that leadership energy, that confidence energy. They make it happen. And so you can receive what you need in order to be able to make it happen. I feel like this card is coming through to give everyone the true motivation, the true vision, and clear path ahead for here's what I want to create in my life. I want to create it by such and such time. And King of Wands says, okay, let's do it. Let's make it happen. It's not a, well, I got to think about this and I got to do that. And I got to blah, blah, blah. It's the King of Wands says, all right, let's figure it out as we go. Take my hand. Let's do this. So there's going to be a real sense of getting shit done. Moving forward, moving ahead, not waiting, not procrastinating, taking those steps forward. And that feels just awesome especially if, you've been one of the people who in the last couple of months has felt a bit stagnant. Like you're ready to move forward, but there's nothing that's moving you, or it feels like there's something in the way. This full moon is going to just blow that wide open. Here is our affirmation for this full moon. Paper aeroplane, I am free to make my wishes come true. I don't need to say any more. It's exactly what I just said. The King of Wands says, all right, let's do this. We're going to make this happen. It's not an if, it's a when. And let's do this. So I am free to make my wishes come true. Make that your mantra for the full moon energy. I love it. Now we are on to our disseminating moon card, or we can also call this the waning crescent. This is, I acknowledge, how best can I honor my gifts and my light during this time? Where can I express gratitude from the heart? And the disseminating moon is happening November 19th to the 21st. So what is it that we are acknowledging? And with that full moon energy and that full moon cycle, we received a lot. So this is now the time to acknowledge and to be grateful for this. So let's see what comes up. 3 of Swords. So you're acknowledging the pain that has brought you to this place. You're acknowledging your ability to practice self-care, to know your self-awareness, to know yourself inside and out, and to understand the role that you have played in your own destiny, in this direction that you have been taking. And 3 of Swords says, I no longer need to give away my power to others. I no longer need to think thoughts about myself that are not aligned with the truth of my heart. I acknowledge that I am my heart. I acknowledge that I am my heart. And if I create from that heart space, not from the head, not even from the soul, if I create from the heart space, how does that shift up and change my outcomes? When we talk about the where can I express gratitude from the heart, I feel like it's expressing gratitude for all of it, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because all of it is part of the human condition. All of it is part of the lesson, the growth, the evolution that is you. And it's an acknowledgement of your evolution. And in this new moon cycle, more so than any of the other new moon cycles in this year that we have had, I feel that is really what needs to be acknowledged. It's a reliance on self, a recommitment to self, and I want to say more confidence in what is coming from the self, from the heart. You've been brought on this heart journey so that you can acknowledge the heart and come from the heart. It doesn't mean you ignore the head or the soul. Again, it's about wholeness and completion, and we are all one. But this is saying now the heart needs to move to the forefront. Everything needs to go through the heart space. And that's not going to be, I want to say, a challenging thing to do. It's not going to be hard to do it unless you continue to get in your own way around it for some reason. Unless you're feeling unworthy, or you're feeling as though you don't want to share your heart or come from the heart space. It's going to feel pretty effortless. And that's what we're looking for, the effortless effort. Okay, we are at our 3rd quarter card. I claim what is being completed in my life at this time, and how can I connect to its release with conviction. So this 3rd quarter card is happening November 22nd to the 25th, and I believe this is also the time when we shift out of Scorpio and into Sagittarius. So happy birthday, Sagittarians. Happy Sagittarius season. Sagittarius is that fire energy. So we're leaving the scorpionic water and we're moving into that Sagittarian fire, that passion, that drive, that exploration. And how are we claiming it? What is being completed in your life at this time? How can you connect to its release with conviction? You've got the Lover's card. I love this. Okay, so you're claiming self-reflection. You're claiming a deeper understanding of the choices that you've made, why you've made those choices, and how those choices are helping you to commit more deeply to yourself. This card also can be a reflection of how others see you through their eyes and how you see others through your eyes. And I'm feeling like this particular window of time, there is going to be a lot of external reflection, things being reflected back to you, you being the mirror that reflects to another what they're putting out there, what they're contributing, how they're speaking, what it is that they're saying. I also feel like you're going to have a stronger sense of what's not being spoken. And it's what's not being spoken that you are going to be reflecting. Not necessarily that you're calling people out, more so that you are addressing it in a more subtle way. You're addressing it through your actions. You're addressing it through your example. And it's up to them whether they choose to see it or not. But I am feeling really strongly that those of you who are watching this video right now, you're the mirror. You're the reflector. And it's done in service to that person. It's done in love. It's done with the intention of helping that person to rise out of some lower vibrational frequency and energy that they're kind of caught up in. But it's also about non-interference. So that's why you're not calling someone out on it. You're instead being a barometer and being an example of how they can sort of navigate those waters. And that feels really powerful. I love the angel in this card, sort of looking over this divine masculine and divine feminine, the yin and the yang couple coming through, and there's so much orange in this. So claim how you feel. Claim that sacral chakra area, because that's where your fire resides. Own it. Own it. Our affirmation for this third quarter moon. Ooh, this one popped out. Oh, and it's a gorgeous image here. Love it. Wishing boat. I look forward to new challenges. So with the Lover's card and the reflection, sometimes it can feel challenging to be that reflector for somebody else, needing to be the example. And this doesn't mean you have to be perfect in that example. It just means you're a walking example of what you're witnessing in that other person. So you look forward to the new challenges that this is going to bring, because you're seeing that this person or these people that you are being that witness to, or being that reflection for, you're excited about what they're going to do with that information and how they're going to apply it in order to grow. So I feel like that, sort of what's being completed and how can you connect to its release with conviction, it's looking forward to the new challenge, recognizing that that's what it's all about. And you're making a choice to move forward. You're making a choice to the new. Love it. All right, now we are at our Balsamic Moon card. And the Balsamic Moon is also known as the Waning Gibbous. This is happening November 26th through to the 29th. I surrender. What energy can I lean into to fly free into this new version of me? What can I consider as I embrace this opportunity to know myself anew? The Devil card. So surrender to the rebel within. Surrender to that energy of, I don't need to do it in the way that someone else tells me to do it unless that really resonates with me. If it doesn't resonate, it's okay for me to find my own path. It's okay for me to walk a different walk and talk a different talk. The devil is never the person that, so some might disagree with me, but this is just what I'm getting. The devil really doesn't tell lies. The devil can omit. The devil can manipulate. But the devil always speaks with that ounce of truth. You know, for every ounce of truth, for every lie, there's an ounce of truth connected to the lie, right? I feel like with this devil card, it's surrendering to your basest desires, surrendering to the, you know, God, I wish that I didn't have to deal with this bullshit. God, I wish I didn't have to, you know, be the example for this jackass that's in front of me that, you know, keeps getting away with stuff because they choose to play dumb or, you know, whatever the case may be. Yeah, you can get really frustrated with it. The devil comes up to say, you know, as the lover, you've given the person the opportunity, you know, the lover's card, you've given the person the opportunity, you've given them the reflection. What they choose to do with it is on them. Now you get to be the rebel. Walk your own path. Do what you need to do for you. Surrender to the fact that you have zero control over how anyone is going to receive you. And remove any desire or need to have that understood by yourself or to know that in advance in order to say, okay, yeah, well, I know how it's going to turn out, so I'm just going to do it because I feel safe to do that. The devil doesn't lie. The devil doesn't measure those things in those ways. The devil says, I want to do it, so let me just do it. And let me see what comes out as a result. And I will ask for forgiveness rather than permission. And I'll figure it out on the other side. I'm not going to worry so much. Being the rebel isn't always a bad thing. You know, the card can mean a number of different things. In this instance, in this reading, I'm feeling like the devil is saying, I always speak truth. I might just be clever in the way that I speak it, but that doesn't mean that I don't have the right to choose the experience that I really want to have. So dive into that. Be clear with yourself. Be truthful with yourself, and then figure out how you want to kind of be the inner rebel around that. Embrace the inner rebel around this, because if you don't acknowledge the shadow engulfs you. So indulge the shadow a little bit and notice what you notice about the experience. You don't have to be all in. It doesn't have to be an all or nothing experience. But the shadow is coming up, the devil is coming up because it wants to be out there. It wants to be seen and heard and felt. It wants to have some different experience. And the only way that the shadow self can grow is by having experience, by being let out of the closet or the cage for a little while. So don't be afraid of that shadow. Incorporate it. Incorporate it intentionally, and you won't go wrong. All right, and so we have our final card. This is our dark moon or the void moon card. And of course, this is not part of the scientific cycle of the moon, but this is another release card that comes up. It's a phase that comes up in between that balsamic moon or waning gibbous moon phase. And so this month it's happening on November 28th. And this is what we are really stepping into release based on everything that has transpired in this particular cycle that we're in. What can I release control of or walk away from knowing it has served its purpose? How can I remain open to the new and unknown in this process? The Hierophant. Be your own guide. I can't remember if it came up earlier or not, but I'm feeling like what you can release control of is that you don't know. Again, you don't know how anyone's going to respond or react to you. So let go of the need to have any kind of validation around that. Step into, I am my own guide. I know best what's going to work for me because I am still, because I am tuning into my intuition. I've let my shadow self, my ego, come out to play a little bit. And so it's no longer wanting to take over the world because it's had a little taste. It feels included. It feels like it's a part of things. And so it no longer has to have world domination because it feels included. So the Hierophant is, all right, I'm strong enough to know what the next steps are. I also have to point out, we just had a full moon in Taurus, and the Hierophant is the Taurus card. So I do feel this energy of coming back to the basics or going back to what you know from a new, fresh perspective. I know that I can't control anyone or anything. I can only control my own reactions or responses to things. And so I'm releasing all that came up in this cycle because I recognize that it has laid foundation for the new and the unknown that is to come. And I'm confident in that shift and that change. And I am my own guide, but I am also a reflection for others because I am following my purpose. I am following my own path and my own process. Wow, guys, that is our new moon reading for the new moon on November 1st. What a powerful month. If you like what you see here, feel free to like the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel for more content like this. This is so powerful. Make sure that you come back to this again and again throughout the cycle to see where things are at and how it's unfolding, because we're going to need that support. We're going to need these gentle reminders to really make the most of the energy this month. And if you really are struggling, or you've got these amazing inspirations and you want to figure out how to make them work for you, click on the link below and book a session with me. I offer 30 and 60-minute sessions where we can get right into the heart of anything that you've got going on. And for a deeper exploration, I encourage you to look at my Phoenix journeys. I have the Phoenix 360, which deals with one particular topic. I've got the Soul's Purpose journey, which helps you to really explore on that deeper level what you're here to do for this year and how you can really hone in on the spots and the points and the areas that are really going to give you the most bang for your buck. So I would love to connect in those ways. I hope you guys have the most amazing new moon cycle. I can't wait to see how it all turns out for you, and we will see you on the flip side. Transform well.